G'day everyone, welcome to yoga. My name's Sam. Today we're going to work on releasing through the chest, the front of the shoulders and the neck. So if you are somebody who has quite a sedentary job, maybe you sit at a desk for the majority of the day, we are going to work to open up through the front of the body and strengthen as best we can the back body. No props required for today's practice. When you're ready, we'll get right into it. So to begin, either find a kneeling position, or if that's not comfortable for you, just sit down flat on your bum and cross your legs. You're going to find a nice long spine. Hang the right arm down alongside the body, then see if we can take the left arm behind the back just to grab gently the right forearm. Now the idea here is to let the left hand pull the right arm down slightly as we drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. So using the support of the left hand to gently extend and lengthen through the right hand side of your neck. If you can for a moment, let your eyes soften shut, allow your breathing to slow down, allow your thoughts to center around your breath, and just feel the sensations in the body. You may not have too many opportunities throughout the day to close your eyes, so I invite you to take that opportunity as much as you can throughout today's practice. One last breath here. And release that right arm gently. Bring the head back through center and work to swap. So left arm will extend down by the side. Right hand will reach behind to catch hold of the left forearm. And very gently, right ear will drop off towards right shoulder as your right hand gently extends and lengthens that left arm down towards the floor a little more. Can get superbly tight through the upper back, the trapezius, into the neck and the throat if we spend a lot of time hunched over a desk. So don't expect this to feel phenomenal at the very beginning. It may be quite tight and tense. That's completely fine. Very gently. Work to release. So we're going to come towards a child's pose. So send your two big toes towards the back edge of the mat, knees a little wide, walk the arms out in front. So feel the action of your hips moving back in space, your arms reaching forwards out in front of you. If you can, we'll pop onto the fingertips. This is going to hollow out the arms a little bit. We're going to feel our way into the upper back and into the lats a little bit more here. Feel as though those fingertips will extending and reaching forwards as you let your head drop down a little heavier. We'll keep those hips nice and heavy. Shuffle the hands off the left hand side of the mat. Right hand will interlace on top of the left. Push your left hand into the floor. Pull your right hand back towards you. And work to lengthen through the right hand side of the body. This is a stretch that I work on quite a bit, so if you've practiced with me before, this will be familiar to you. This is going to lengthen through your latissimus dorsi, or the wings of the back, the lats, into the back of your deltoids, or your posterior deltoid, back of the shoulder. This will even carry down towards those muscles of the low back, the erector spinae, and even the obliques, or the side waist muscles. Gently release. Shift off towards the other side, so hands move to the right. Left hand will interlace on top of the right. Pull that left hand back towards you as you push your right palm into the floor. And you see I'm letting my left shoulder drop a little heavier here. I'm letting the left elbow bend a little more. This is going to deepen that stretch through that left hand side. And slowly start to release. Come back through center, lift up onto hands and knees, and we'll move our way through a couple of rounds of cow and cat. So you want to start the movement from the tailbone here. Tailbone will start to rise. Belly will drop down. And it will actively pull the chest forwards. Feel your shoulder blades squeeze towards each other as your chin gently rises. So the crown of the head and the tailbone are lifting. The body is starting to dip in the middle, almost like a half pipe you might find at a skate park. Take a breath in. As we exhale, we find the opposite. So tailbone starts to draw under, you pull the navel in, the upper and middle back start to round as you draw the chin towards the chest. And you're starting to resemble that cat. That's why they call it cat pose, right? That makes a lot of sense. And then we reset. So inhale, belly drops, gaze and tail lifts, we find the half pipe, or the cow pose if you will. Exhale, chin to chest, tailbone tucks, we round. And then one more time, just like that. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, press to round. Then come towards a neutral spine. We prepare for downward facing dog. Pressing firm through the hands, tucking the toes, allowing the hips to rise up and back. Now, so often in downward facing dog, you hear the cue, soften the shoulders away from the ears. This is a depression of your scapula, which works for some people, but not all. Just know the alignment cues you hear are not absolutely not for everybody. If you do tend to pinch through your shoulders, you may find pushing away from the floor or a slight elevation of your shoulder blades will give you more activation from the muscles of the upper back, will give you more stability through the shoulders. So you find what works for you. It may be a hybrid, some days a little bit different. You want to find a little bit of stillness here in a downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Let it go. And start to look forwards between your hands. We're going to roll forwards towards a plank pose. If you notice your down dog is nice and short, you may want to step the feet back so there's a little more space here. As you push away from the floor, we find a protraction or a drawing apart of the shoulder blades as the shoulders stack above the wrists. You're going to keep this nice strong action through the upper body. Roll the heels off to the right, reach the left arm up and overhead. So find this side plank variation. Push to lift up nice and high through the hips. Shuffle forward so your shoulder stacks above your wrist. Maybe even reaching your left arm towards the front of the room here. Take an inhale. Exhale. Roll back through center, left hand grounds. Take both heels off towards the left hand side this time. Reach your right arm up towards the sky. And pushing to lift, stacking shoulder above the wrist. Maybe reaching the right arm forward. Just waking up through the shoulders here. Take a breath in. Exhale, come back through center, drop your knees down towards the floor, wrap your biceps forward towards the front of the mat, lean forwards, maybe your feet rise, bend the elbows, we are going to lower all the way down. So come towards a nice flat position here, letting the arms move out towards these 90-degree angles. So your hands will just be off the top edge of your mat. We're going to push down through the feet here, feel the knees lift as the quadriceps engage, then press through the hands. Start to gently lift the chest. And you'll notice because we took the hands in front of the top edge of the mat, we won't be lifting the chest too much right now. That's completely fine. You may feel like the shoulders are starting to shrug up towards the ears. If you can counteract that, feel the shoulders starting to soften down and away from your ears. It's just a gentle opening through the upper back or the thoracic spine. Take an inhale. Then rebend your elbows. Let your forehead soften down. From here, slide your hands back so they're a little bit behind the top edge of your mat. We're going to do the same thing again. So push down through the feet, feel the knees lift. Inhale, press to lift. You'll notice you'll get quite a significant amount of lift here compared to the first round. So if you need to find a little space between, maybe shuffle the hands forward, let that happen. Remember, softening shoulders away from the ears, wrapping the biceps forward, feeling the feet press down, feeling the knees lift. Take an inhale. And bend the elbows gently, lower back down. Slide the hands down by the low ribs. So now the hands are nice and close. Squeeze the elbows in. Roll the shoulder blades down the back. Again, strong feet, knees lift. Inhale, lift your chest. Find that Cobra Pose. Notice the elbows are still bending. Chest is pulling forwards. Shoulder blades are drawing down. Legs nice and strong. Take a breath. Exhale, we roll down. Once forehead grounds, press to hands and knees, and tuck your toes, lift your hips up nice and high. From downward facing dog, we'll take a full breath. Let it out. And reach your right leg up nice and high. Try to keep your hips square so the right hip is still in line with the left. From here, knee draws to chest, look forwards, land the right foot by the right thumb. Come onto the fingertips, step your left foot a little wider to the left-hand side. We'll drop the back heel down. Try to pull the chest forwards so the right thigh is nice and deep. From here, we'll lift up. We're going to reach the arms up and overhead, move towards a warrior one setup. So nice and deep through that front right thigh, long and strong through the back left leg. Back heel is nice and flat. We're wrapping the left hip forwards and trying to drive that right thigh down towards the floor. We'll be here for 3 breaths. So take a breath in. Let it out. And then gently take the arms down by the side, interlace the hands behind the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Let the chest pull open a little bit more. 2 breaths. Last one. Full breath in. From here, keep your hands behind your back if you can. Start to lift the back heel off the mat and see how gently you can step your left foot up to meet the right as you fold forwards over your thigh. Keeping those hands interlaced, maybe it's just your fingertips. I encourage you to bend the knees a lot here. Allow your chest and your belly, or your chest, your belly, and your thighs to meet as you start to fold over the thighs here. Dropping the head nice and heavy. Allowing the back of the neck to lengthen. And just feeling as though those arms can somewhat relax in this position. Take 1 full breath. Before you release your hands, bend your elbows. Let the fingers just drape across the tailbone before they soften down towards the floor. And take your hands to the back of the head, interlace the fingers, start to draw the chin in towards the chest a little more. Lean forwards into the toes. Take a little sway from side to side. And release the hands, start to roll up towards standing. Encourage the rounding through the spine as you rise. As you do lift, reach your arms up and overhead, breathe in. Exhale, arms rest down by the side. And keep the flow of breath and energy moving. As we inhale, the arms will climb up. As we exhale, we'll fold over the thighs, nice and heavy. As we inhale, we'll lift our chest up halfway, so lengthen through the spine. Then ground your palms, we'll step the left leg back first, followed by the right. Find a plank position, and then soften your knees down towards the mat. Send your hips back towards your heels. And we'll look forwards. Roll forwards, bend the elbows to lower all the way down. From here, right arm will move out towards a 90-degree angle. See if you can take your left leg up and over by pressing left fingertips into the floor. So working to stretch through the right side of the chest here. This is one of those positions where you don't necessarily want to push and lift as hard as you can. You want to feel your way into it. It may feel restorative. Sometimes you can feel a slight pinching in the shoulder. If that's the case, I find extending the right arm out towards the right hand side takes the pressure off the shoulder a little bit. You can feel a little more of that stretch sensation, but adjust where you need to so that it feels like it's giving you a bit of relief. That's what we're looking for essentially. And we'll gently come back through center, prepare for the other side. So left arm's now at that 90 degree. Going back through center. Ground the palms down. Maybe this time we take a push up. Come back towards downward facing dog. When we get there, left leg rises, keeping the hips square as best you can. Exhale, step the left foot by the left thumb. Shuffle the right foot out wider, drop the heel down. Come on up to find that warrior one. Sitting deep into that front left leg, working to lengthen through the back right leg. Reaching the arms overhead. Finding your stability here. Take a breath. Maybe from here you set the arms down behind the back, interlace the hands, squeeze across the shoulder blades, sit a little deeper, take 2 full breaths. One last inhale. And keep the hands as they are, mindfully lift the back heel. See if you can gently step your right foot up to meet your left. We fold over the thighs again. You might be able to find a little more depth here, bending into the knees, allowing the arms to get a little bit heavier. We are allowing the head to soften, the back of the neck to lengthen here. So do your very best to let the chin draw to chest just a little bit more so that you feel that space. Take a breath. And of course, before we release the hands, fingertips find the tailbone, soften the hands down, we'll roll up towards standing. When we get there, let your arms rise above your head as you breathe in. Exhale, set the arms down by the side. And work to reverse through the process. Inhale, arms climb, look up. Exhale, we fold. Lengthening up as we breathe in. This time, step your right leg back first, followed by your left. Find the plank, get nice and strong. Then knees drop, hips move back to heels, we breathe in. Exhale, we look forwards, roll forwards. Bend the elbows to lower all the way down. You're going to set up for a Cobra Pose here, so push down through your feet, roll the shoulder blades back, lift that chest up, and try to keep the chest lifted as we float the legs off the mat there as well. We want to feel as though the hands, we're trying to pull the chest forwards here so that we're not bunching up the skin on the belly there. If you can find more space, let the arms reach down by the side, let them float off the mat. And if all that is working swimmingly, interlace the hands behind the back. We've done it quite a few times before, it might feel comfortable here. Let the crown of the head lead the way, just gaze down off the top edge of your mat. If you want to take it even further, like to squeeze heels in. If heels find the knuckles, maybe you can reach back, catch hold of your ankles. And if that works, squeeze the legs together, kick the shins back, let the chest rise. We'll be here for 7, for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very mindfully we release. Hands down by the low ribs, push up to hands and knees. Send your hips back toward your heels. Find a moment to rest in child's pose. And we'll slowly begin to rise. Setting back for downward facing dog. You're going to continue with a similar flow, mixing it up just a little. So let your right leg rise, breathe in. Exhale this time, step your right foot a little wider than your right hand, drop the back heel. Going to come up for that warrior one again, taking hands straight behind the back this time, interlacing them. Feet are nice and wide here, right foot's almost at the right edge of the mat, left foot's almost at the left edge. We squeeze across the shoulder blades to let the chest rise as we sit deep in the right thigh, breathe in. Then exhale, we'll work to fold over the right thigh, letting your right shoulder melt inside the right thigh rather than resting on top. Let your head drop down nice and heavy. Keep sinking into that right leg. Keep allowing that left leg to straighten out. Try and wrap your right hip closer towards the center of the mat rather than letting the butt just fall out towards the right hand side. I'm going to be here for one last breath. Again, hands to tailbone first. Lift the chest up halfway. Both hands inside the right leg. We're going to walk over towards the left leg. Sit deep in the left thigh. Let your right toes lift off the mat. And allow your hands to reach out in front of you here. You're flexing the right toes towards the face. Sitting nice and deep into that left leg. Take a full breath. And gently set your bottom onto the floor. Let your left knee drop down and then parallel your right shin with the front edge of the mat, your left shin with the left edge of the mat. We'll turn our torso over the direction of the right thigh and start to lean out over that right leg. If you have the space here, for a little extra, take left forearm to the bottom of your right foot, interlace your fingers, And try and turn your torso just a little closer towards your right foot. One last breath. And we rise up. Right leg stays where it is. Swing the left foot around, see if you can land outside the right thigh. Left fingertips behind the back. Reach the right arm up, breathe in. And exhale, hook the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Allow yourself to twist a little more. Now we've given the shoulders a little workout today. If you have more space, imagine you're arm wrestling someone and you just beat them. So that right arm will move down. Maybe the hand shoots between the legs. Right arm behind the back. You might be able to find a bind here. Again, this is going to work through the shoulders and the chest. Maybe you look back over that left shoulder. You feel that chest continuing to rise. Breathe here. One last inhale. Very mindfully release that bind if you've got it. Turn your torso to the right hand side, fingertips to the floor, and the elbows let the chest lower down just a little. And as we rise, nice and easy, left ankle crosses in front of the right. We roll onto hands, set the feet back, find downward facing dog. From here, left leg rises, full breath. Exhale, left foot lands outside the left hand. Back heel drops, we come on up, we're in that nice wide warrior one stance. Hands move straight behind the back, interlace the fingers. Shuffling to find your depth, find your width, we lift the chest higher, breathe in. Exhale, we work to fold. Again, left shoulder working its way inside the left thigh. Allow the arms to fall over the back of the head. Allow your head to drop nice and heavy, hugging that left hip in as best you can as you press down through the base of your left big toe. Take one last breath. And hands to tailbone first. Gently lift that chest up. Both hands inside the left leg as you walk over towards your right foot and bend into your right knee. Let your left toes lift off the mat and walk your arms out in front of you. Nice and easy. Set the bottom onto the floor. Right knee drops down. Left shin parallel with the top edge. Right shin parallel with the right edge of the mat. As you lift the torso, face it in the direction of the top edge of your mat. Lean your chest out, and if you have more space, right forearm to the bottom of the left foot, left fingertips interlace. And we work to turn the torso a little closer towards that left foot. As we slowly begin to rise. Again, left leg will stay where it is. Swing the right foot around. See if right foot can rest outside the left thigh. As we sit up nice and tall, right fingertips behind the back. Left arm rises. We breathe in. Exhale, we hook the elbow outside the thigh. We work to find that twist. You're either staying here or arm wrestling your imaginary foe, seeing if left hand can find its way between your legs. Maybe taking the right arm behind the back to find the bind. Again, if it's not there, don't stress. Be happy with where you are instead of trying to force yourself somewhere that you're not. Take a full breath in. Twist a little more as you exhale. And gently unraveling your bind if you've got it. Turning your torso off towards the left-hand side with elbows resting. Lower your chest down just a little. And as we lift, this time we'll lower onto the floor. So unravel the legs, tuck the tailbone under, allow yourself to lower down onto your back. When you get there, we're going to work to set the feet underneath the knees so the heels are nice and close towards the bottom. From here, our last opportunity to really open up through the chest. We'll draw the shoulder blades towards each other, push through the feet to lift the hips. And then again, for the 1000th time today, we'll interlace the hands behind the back. As the fingertips draw towards each other, imagine your pinkies were trying to search for the floor, and feel that shimmying action to allow the shoulder blades to draw together just a little bit more here. Take a breath in. Let it out. One more time. And we'll slowly start to lower back down. When we do, bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees fall away from one another. And spread your arms out wide. Let your knuckles rest against the earth. So the intention of today's practice was not to be here for a long time, but to find the relief we need through front of the shoulder, into the chest, and of course the neck. From here, interlace your hands. Allow your head to rest in your hands, then gently draw your chin in towards your chest, still keeping the feet as they are. Let your elbows draw towards each other. So you feel a flexion through the thoracic spine. We want to gently move from one side to the next. Imagine left elbow was working its way down towards the left hip. And roll back through center. Imagine right elbow was working its way towards right hip. We do this a couple of times from side to side. Just releasing through shoulder blades and the upper back, feeling this upper back muscles massage against the earth. As we lower down, spread your arms wide. Work to set your palms flat. Then pull your knees in towards your chest. Flex the feet. And allow both knees to fall off to the right hand side, trying to stop them before they hit the earth. So you're using the muscles of the belly here to stop your knees from touching the mat. We'll bring them back through center. And do the same on the opposite side. So knees move to the left. Try and stop them before they hit the earth. Keep those feet flexing. Keep the palms pressing flat. And we'll gently come back through center. We're going to do that one more time, and this time it's going to be infinitely more challenging and infinitely more fun. Straighten the legs, flex the feet. Make sure your palms are pressing down. We're going to move the knees off, or the legs rather, off towards the right hand side, stopping them before they hit the earth. Trying to keep your feet hovering, both palms still pressing flat. Take a full breath in. Use the exhale to lift, up through center. And we'll take both feet off towards the left-hand side. Again, working to let them hover just before they hit the earth, keeping both shoulder blades grounding. Take an inhale. Exhale, we rise. Back up through center. Reach your hands up towards your feet. Bend your knees. See if you can catch hold of the soles of your feet. Little movement from side to side. Massage through the low back. Maybe you work to straighten your right leg, followed by the left. If that feels okay, maybe you straddle both the legs. And as you work to release yourself down onto the mat, giving yourself the opportunity to be nice and still, we'll take the arms a little wider today, maybe even taking the arms overhead. So a little modification, a little variation on our Shavasana. Chance to find more space across the front body. Let your fingers curl in. Let your breath slow down. I appreciate you so much for taking the time out of your day to practice. I hope you appreciate yourself enough to give your body a little more time to be still here. And the video stop by itself. Allow your breath to begin to come back to its natural state. As always, from me to you with thanks. Peace.